Hello, I'm Lamont Bonus from the Paoli United Methodist Church in Paoli, Indiana. Want to talk to our members here a little bit about our website, which is www.paoli-umc.com. And I want to thank Bob Cromwell for setting that up and maintaining that for us. And we appreciate that very much. And if you have time and you want to kind of look at our website, Bob has worked very hard in organizing that and making it productive. And one of the things that we want to try to do with our website is create what's called traffic. In other words, people coming to our website and looking at it. And then the other thing is people coming in from other sites or other locations. So that's why when you look at our website, we connect out to Instagram and we also connect out to YouTube. And that means then people can also come from YouTube and come from Instagram to our website. So I would encourage you to take time to look at your website, understand how it's structured, because even though they say it's user-friendly, it depends on how it's designed and it works for the people that are using it, the main group using it. And as you might imagine, since we are a small church, we don't get a lot of traffic there. But it's one of the better designed websites that I've seen, specific and to the point. And let me begin, when you get on it, there's the first section there up on the header or headliner that you can click on, and it goes to different sections, spirituality. There's different devotionals there, and there's different sermons to look at, different prayers to look at. And one of the things that's there that I've added to it is I've done a few book reviews, so you might want to look at that. My interest is mainly in nonfiction, historical, and spiritual items, and it just takes a long time to get a content of the different types of books built up, but we continue to do that. We do have several books that are there that are actually written by members, former members, one of them, and extended family that from some of our family groups here in the church that have written books. So we have two of them from extended family of the Paoli United Methodist Church. So I'd ask you to go through and look at that, and just remember then that toward the bottom of the page will connect you to the YouTube sermons there. Take time to browse through that. Now another thing, and you're probably very, very tired of hearing me say this, is you need to use Google reviews, because every time during Christmas and Easter, I hear people come in. We have not a lot of new people or visitors or guests coming, but every so often I'll hear them say, well, I had to find the church, I had to Google it. And so if you do a Google review, that shows up there. For example, let me give you for example. We had Carolyn Van Sickle do a beautiful musical presentation on the 15th of March, the third Sunday in March, and she did a beautiful presentation. But you need to take time to say, okay, I enjoyed that. What did I enjoy about it? The more specific and concrete you can be in your Google review, it takes a little time to work on it, the better it can be. So if you like Carolyn's musical presentation, you need to put that out there and let people know, because that's a different location where people are coming in and trying to find out about our church. And don't just say, well, it's a nice church, it's a nice place to be. That's too general. That doesn't help a lot of people when they're looking to find a church. Well, what does that mean? What kind of church is this? So I encourage you to think about writing a Google review. Just take some time to write it down on paper and then type it in, and there's instructions. If you need help, just feel free to call the church. What I'd like to cover today, I'm calling it, for lack of a better term, that this is a YouTube Bible snapshot thought provoker. So I'm focusing on the Gospel of Luke today, and the Gospel of Luke is two parts. Basically, it's Luke and it's Acts, and they were written together and then they were separated. And it makes up about those two books make up about 25% of the New Testament. So by simply looking at the Gospel of Luke and the Gospel of Acts, written by the same author, you now have a very broad range of knowledge in the New Testament. The other thing to remember, that the gospel focuses on the poor and the downtrodden, and it focuses on women, which was very controversial during that time that it was written. And it also talks about what it means to be a witness for Jesus Christ. And remember, Luke is a Gentile, so he's going to be focusing and talking to the Gentile audience. Not the Jewish audience that Matthew talks to, but the Gentile audience. Remember, the church is expanding now, so Luke is trying to write about those topics and make the Christian faith a reality for the people of his time. Now, there's about 1,100 verses in the Gospel of Luke, and about 280 verses are original to Luke. So if you have one of those Bibles that shows the different color coding for the different sources, and I must say that's a very unique book, but if you can find something like that, 280 verses of Luke are original to Luke, and another 250 verses are coming from what Bible scholars call the Q, which translates, I believe, to the source document. The Q means the source document. And those verses, the 250 of those verses, are taken from the Q source and are in both Luke and Matthew. So these are the sources that were brought together. Let me go into some of the specific verses in the Gospel of Luke, and these are just YouTube Bible snapshot thought provokers. So if you want to write these down, please feel free to. I encourage you to do it because sometimes we all process things differently. Some people hear things and can remember them better, and other people have to see them or write them down to make it more productive for them to retain it a little bit longer. So we begin to look at Luke, the 10th chapter, verses 38 through 42, and in there we have two sisters fighting, Mary and Martha. And the point of that particular text, Luke 10, 38 through 42, is that Mary's true service, she's the one listening to Jesus while Martha's trying to cater the party, I guess, that's taking place at her house. Martha's running around, she's all upset that Mary isn't helping her, and Jesus reminds her that Mary's true service is to hear and obey the Word of God. This concludes this section here. I want to remind you that our website is www.paoli-umc.com and Instagram @paoliumc. Thank you.